And today we are going to talk about chapters 1 to 5 in Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. Yes, we are starting a new book today. So Stand Up Yumi Chung is a really fun book, and since you should have read the first 2 chapters, you know that Yumi, she's having problems at school, right? And she's a Korean American. Her parents are immigrants from South Korea. They've made a restaurant, Chung's Barbecue, and so it's just a story, right? But the thing is, she wants to become a stand-up comedian. Now, have you ever read a book about somebody who wants to become a stand-up comedian, or not? It's just your first time? Just a question. Well, I have read, is it the iFunny series? I read it. iFunny, actually, the entire series. Some people say that they really liked it. I actually did not like the iFunny series. It just wasn't that very fun. But still. I have read about kids who want to become comedians. Anyway, let's start Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. Also, another really big highlight today is that I am going to meet Jessica Kim at a bookstore. Yes, it's not like a one-to-one experience. It's more like a Jessica Kim is there. A lot of fans are there. I'm one of those fans. Okay, chapter 1. So now we land right in the middle of a Korean beauty salon, right? Now, have you always tried to get somebody to listen to you, but that has never worked? Like, nobody listens to you ever? Yeah, that's definitely happened, and that's what's happening to Yumi right now, right? And are you the type of person who, when you want to do something, when you want somebody to do something to you, when you're advocating for something, do you strongly support your side? Do you strongly say, okay, I am on this, I am going to do this? Like, for example, if you have a Yumi, would you have said, I am getting this pixie cut? Or would you have just said, okay, fine, I'll have the perm. What type of person are you? Are you the type of person who will say, okay? Or are you the type of person who will say, no, I want that pixie cut now? What do you think? I'm more stubborn. I can't call myself a donkey, but I am stubborn. Not as stubborn as a donkey, but almost. What's the thing nearest to a donkey? A mule. Actually, mules are more stubborn, right? I'm as stubborn as a horse. I don't really know how stubborn horses are, but they have to be a bit stubborn, I guess. And now my question here is, after the first chapter, what was your thoughts about Yumi's mom and all of the adults in Yumi's life? Right? It's not like we haven't gotten much into the story, right? But Jessica Kim really gives us a good introduction. And so yeah, what do you think? When you read this first chapter, only this first chapter, what did you think? How did you think about Yumi's parents? They were sort of, I could say they were a bit rough on Yumi, right? And comparisons, like comparing one kid to other parents, their friends' kids, that's not cool. I read this article once that said that type of comparisons could seriously hurt self-esteem and mental abilities. So yeah, that's not cool. And besides, And also, they're forcing her to go to Winston, right? By getting a scholarship, even though she doesn't really want to go to Winston. And getting a scholarship means that she has to study really hard and go to Hagwan, right? So my question here is, do you think that her mom is doing a good thing? Because if you think about it, like, some people will say, hey, Yumi's mom and dad, they're just trying to make the best life for her. They want to make sure that she gets a good education, goes to a good school, and gets a good job so that she'll be happy and financially stable. That's what all parents want for their kids. Do you think that because of that, it justifies their actions? Or do you think that even if this is true, do you think that they should still allow Yumi to do the things that they want to do, that she wants to do? So what do you think, right? Because, like, they're only trying to get the best educational experience. They only want Yumi to get the best educational experience. At the same time, Yumi wants to do something else. So who's right? Like yeah, if you had been the parents, what would you have done? And do you think Yumi's parents are bad? Not bad? What do you think? Or do you think that it's like half-assed? Like, it is good that they're trying to let Yumi have a great academic experience, but at the same time, maybe they should also let her focus on the things that she's really passionate about. What do you think? And do you think that they will ever achieve that half-half point? Because right now, yeah, that's definitely not happening, right? Now, also we soon learn that Yumi's mom does not appreciate stand-up comedy, right? She's like her mom calls Jasmine Jasper, which is a really popular stand-up comedian, a jokester, and instead, she's like, you need to study. Have you ever been in this type of experience? And even if you haven't, how do you think it will feel just to have your entire break, your entire life, all the things that you care about, just getting flushed away, which is how Yumi describes it. And by the end, do you think, and because of this, do you think that Yumi will achieve the new me, the new me for herself, which she mentioned on the first page? If you go back to the first page, you're gonna see it, and you're gonna say something bold for the new me. So she wants this new me, right? Especially because she does not like Winston, right? And so she wants to become a new person, right? Do you think that Yumi, by the end of the book, will become her new me? Do you think she is going to be the new me? Do you think she will attend Winston, or do you think she will attend the place that she wants to? And finally, will Yumi's parents be okay with comedy, or do you think that's not going to happen? Now, if you had a nickname like Yumi, yeah, we're on to chapter 2. If you had a nickname like Yumi, do you think that you would, I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't be okay with it, but how would you have responded to this? I mean, some people would just be like, fine, I'll be called Yumi. I'll be called Yumi. Or are you the type of person who will say, hey, I'm going to tell a teacher? Because everybody says, snitching is bad. I just really don't know. What's so bad about snitching and tattletaling? I mean, like, some people say that's bad, but I'm not that type of person. I'm like, if I have to snitch, I'm going to snitch. I mean, I have no idea why kids make such a big deal out of it. I mean, like, if somebody's doing something bad, you've got to report it, right? Like, some people will call that snitching, but that's not it. I mean, I'm just telling somebody who has authority that they're doing something bad, because that's right. So I'll be fine doing that. Now, have you ever felt that your home, if you've had a sibling, okay, and they went away, did you feel that the house felt empty, or were you like, this is the life? I mean, none of my siblings are here to bother me. Oh, this is so much space. I love this. What type of person are you? It seems like to Yumi that the house just feels empty, right? And do you think that their dad's new idea of making a website and reservations, do you think that this is going to work, or do you think this is going to be a failure? What do you think? Because right now it's just hard to make. It's really easy to just get a table, right? Because business hasn't been going well. So do you think that the reservations are necessary? Why? If you have been a restaurant owner, would you have done it? I would have done it, because if you reserve tables, that sort of makes you look like you're unavailable, right? So people are going to be like, look, you have to reserve tables here. That must mean that a lot of people go there, so it must be good, right? So that's a bonus. Besides, most people they search up where they want to go online, and that's when they can get to the websites and browse a bit, and possibly get an online reservation. Do you think that Yumi will be able to stand another year at Winston? I mean, if she does, do you think she can? Do you think there's going to be any harmful effects to her? Because think about it. Like, do you think if you had gone to Winston and you were bullied like Yumi, do you think you could stand another year of that, or do you think it would just you wouldn't be able to stand it at all? And now, my final question is, if you had been Yumi, would you have protested? Would you have just said firmly, no, I'm not going, and then say again, no, I'm not going, and then say again, no, I'm not going? Or after the first time, would you have just agreed? Well, I like to think of myself as a good son, so I think that I would just say, okay, because I've never really had any trouble with bullies. That's the nice thing about my life. Yeah, but I'm not very sure, but if I really don't want to go somewhere, yeah, I can throw up a big whining tantrum. So if I want, I can do that. But I mean, mostly I don't really have those problems, but if I was bullied like Yumi, I would definitely fight back. Now, so now we get to this part about about Yumi and Yuri's parents greeting customers, and this really tells us like how they are like, how Yumi and Yuri's parents are like, because you just look here and you see that it seems like Yuri's mother, okay, so I know she's also Yumi's mother, but I'm gonna focus on Yuri for a bit. She's always just thinking about boyfriends and stuff like that, right? And those are not important. Like, if you don't want to get somebody, right? If you don't want to get married, you don't get married. But like, they make a big deal about it, and they keep on talking about boy and girlfriends, schools, and things like that. I mean, do you think that those are important things? Like, if you had been a kid, would you have liked hearing only about that? Like, only about that stuff and about nothing else about like you? So like, the only thing that matters is if you get a boyfriend or a girlfriend. The only thing that matters is if you get good grades, skip a few grades in school, like a genius, you go to medical school. I mean, medical school and skipping 2 grades in college or something? Well, I don't know if it was college or not, but wow. I mean, that's impressive. That's definitely impressive. It's really hard to get through high school and college itself, let alone just skipping grades. Wow. Yuri really must be a genius, though. Now, are your parents always bragging? Like, are your parents always saying, oh yeah, I know, my son or my daughter is such a genius. I'm like, she does piano and math, and are you that type of person? Or I mean, you can be that type of person. Do you know anybody like that who just brags about their awesome achievements or their kids' awesome achievements? Or are you the type of person who just says, yeah, I mean, I'm doing pretty well, even though, like, you know, you're a big, super big, you're a big brain genius. Like, what type of person are you? And now, so So then they go to Yumi, right? And it's like compared to Yumi is sort of like nothing, right? They just look at her. She's got no academic achievements. It just looks to everybody else, you know, she has no academic achievements. And then finally, Mrs. Lee is like, your younger daughter is so tall, even though Yumi isn't very tall at all. And so if you think about it like this, if you have been Yumi, would you have fought back? Would you have said, Mom, just don't do that? I don't like that, okay? I don't like comparisons, okay? It just stresses me out. Or would you just accept it with a shut mouth? What type of person are you? Yeah, I never just shut my mouth and just go along with it, go with the flow. I almost never do that unless I really need to. Another thing I want to say, okay, by the end is, you know, Yumi's the last sentence of this chapter was called "If only my parents were proud of me for the things I can actually do." Right? Yumi, she likes doing things. She's good at comedy, but nobody listens to that, right? Nobody says, nobody does that to her. Instead, nobody's proud of the things that she can do. They are only looking at the things that she doesn't really want to do. My question here is, do you think that Yumi should, because of this, focus on her grades, or do you think that because of this, she should get better at comedy and then impress people? Do you think that Yumi is ever going to impress her parents with comedy? Do you think there's ever going to be this half-half balance? And if so, how do you think this is going to happen? Because if you look at the cover right here, Yumi's definitely up on a stage or something, saying comedy, right? And it says, and right here it says, standing up for who you are is no joke. And behind her, look, she's talking to people. She's definitely doing the stand-up comedy show. So she's doing it. She's going to do it. Stand-up comedy, you know, that's a dream. That's a goal that we're pretty sure is going to happen. And if not, that's very sad. But my question is, when? How? Just make those predictions, and let's go on to the third chapter. So Jasmine Jasper, she said that after doing something, right, after just record yourself and then watch yourself, right? Because Jasmine Jasper said that really lets you improve. Lets you improve. Is that true? Yes, definitely. So when I was first starting this, I was like, I was just terrible. I was terrible at this. I was just entirely terrible. I never looked at the camera. Most of the time, back then, for some reason, I hated speaking. I mean, I'm as good as now as I was back then. Probably a bit better because, you know, time passes, I get better. But still, I just hated speaking. So sometimes I would be actually crying. I know, that's really strange, but I would be crying. I have no idea why, but sometimes I would be just like, I don't know. Maybe that never happened. We never really posted those videos, but still, back then, I never looked at the camera, and it was just terrible. I watched myself and I was like, oh my God, I'm like that? Man. And then at another time, I filmed myself doing violin. I was like, how do I actually sound? Like, you know, when you're right next to the violin and you're playing, you're a bit busy with, you know, like the fingering, the bow, all of that, looking at the notes. And besides, you know, after that, I mean, it sounds good always. It always sounds good to the musician, but like to an actual audience, how does it sound? So I just re-recorded it. I recorded it, I looked at it, it sounded terrible. And then I realized why my mom was always grimacing as she heard my pieces. That was a very traumatic moment for me. I got over it. I'm not pretty good at it. Now, do you think that when you know, with Yumi, how did you think that it was going to go? Did you expect her to be an amazing stand-up comedian, or did you expect a few mistakes? I expected a few mistakes because without a few mistakes, Yumi wouldn't be human. Everybody makes mistakes, and she's only 12 years old. Like Jasmine Jasper, she's in her 20s. I mean, I'm pretty sure she is. So, because of that, I really do expect Yumi will have some mistakes. Yumi rewatched what she did, and so she made up this list of what she really needs to improve at. Now, so here's Yumi's routine, okay? I actually read it. So this is her comedy routine. So, did you think that it was funny? Like, after you read it, were you like laughing, or were you just like, Yumi, that's not really good, or were you like, that's pretty good? Well, I wasn't laughing, but I did think that it was pretty good. But I think that, you know, like, all of this, if you do it on a routine, I'm not very sure. Nobody's gonna be like rolling around on the ground laughing, but I do think that it will actually get a few laughs here and there. So I think that's pretty good. And have you ever been terrified by somebody in a Korean sheet mask? Yes. So once, my mom, she's also like Yumi's mom. I mean, she doesn't say, if you don't get the scholarship, I will not like you. She's not like that. She doesn't pressure me. She's like, you do what you want. Like, I like writing, so she's like, you do what you want. I'm not gonna really force you to do anything. Just do the things that you have to do. Make sure that, and yeah, that's it. I mean, she isn't like, you need to get that scholarship. She isn't like that. So, but yes, she does wear sheet masks. And once, this was the first time that she wore them, I was like, la, la, la. And I just went into the bathroom and she was putting it on. And she turned over to me. And I was so horrified that I screamed and almost fainted. Just like Yumi, she was like, ah! And I was also like that the first time I saw her. And it was really terrifying a lot of times. It was just super scary. Okay, now, her mother, what do you think of Yumi's mother? You know, she really doesn't like comedy, right? And do you think that Yumi really does have a boyfriend, or do you think that it's just wishful thinking on Yumi's mom's part? And finally, do you think that Yumi's mom is being too pushy with her girls? That she's wanting them to do things that are just impossible? What do you think? Chapter 4. So, have you ever gone to Hagwan or some rigorous school before? It doesn't really have to be like a summer camp or anything. If you can think of like a really rigorous school, that's it. Like, have you ever gone to a really hard place before? Now, so, do you think that Yumi right now should be focusing on her studies? Because, you know, Hagwan must cost a bit, right? And even if she likes comedy, still, do you think that at these points she should focus on her comedy? On her work? Yeah, I mean, like, even if she doesn't like it, it still costs money. It still costs a lot. And, you know, it's just a waste if she doesn't do it, right? It's already done. She can't change that, so she might as well be good at it. Right? Have you ever felt trapped and alone before, like in a classroom? Have you ever felt trapped, like your teacher was like, what is the answer? And you're like, I don't know. Once I did that. So, you know, it was online school. I don't know if districts have different curriculums, but certainly this. So, I live in San Diego I've lived in San Diego for like the past 5-6 years. I'm not very sure. I really don't count my days a lot. So, but still, at first I was in one district, okay? I lived in an apartment. I went to one district, and then I moved about like a mile away. A mile. Actually, it's not even a mile. It's like 0.5 miles away. and I had to change school districts. I mean, it was like totally unfair, but yeah, the school is like right next to my house. It really is. It's only 2 minutes away from my house by bike. So yeah, it's really close. And I changed schools, so and I had to. So I learned fractions in 2nd grade. I relearned them in 3rd grade. I mean, like, I already knew fractions in 2nd grade, so I had to learn them again in 3rd grade, and then in 4th grade, I learned them again. It's terrible. You learn them once, you learn them again, you learn them again, you never learn anything new. That it's just really terrible. And so it's like I have no choice but to just be like, I learned this 2 years ago, and I'm still teaching it, and I'm still learning it. So I mean, yeah, it's pretty boring most of the time. They ask questions, I'm like, is this ever going to end? Once it was so boring. They were just reviewing the things I had learned like a year or 2 ago. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit here. And then finally, I heard my voice. I was like, Jaden, please answer this question. And I was like, what? Oh yeah, sorry. And this was in COVID, so you know we were all on computers. So I was like, sorry, but my audio wasn't working very well. Could you please repeat the question? And of course, even though I wasn't listening, I aced that question. But still, yeah, I have gotten into tight spots, but I've always managed to get out of them. But do you think that Yumi will ever pass into Winston? Do you think that she wants to pass into Winston? If she doesn't, how do you think that her parents are going to respond? And if you had been Mrs. Pack, would you have just done a pack attack, or would you have just said, okay, you can go, but please finish your homework, please? What do you think? I would still do a pack attack. I mean, I'm the type of person who loves attacking people. I mean, not like, you know, physically, but like, I like criticizing stuff. So, I think that I would do a pack attack, because besides, I don't want some parents saying, hey, I paid you money, but you just totally didn't improve my child. Okay, I want the refund, and I also don't want bad 1-star reviews. So that's another reason why I would straighten Yumi up. And I have a question. Are you the type of person who likes the environment like Ginny or Guinea? It's really hard. Like last time, one audiobook narrator said it as Guinea, another said it as Ginny. I think it's Ginny. If I'm wrong, please forgive me. But I'm just gonna call her G. Really simple. Or Yumi's friend. Do you think that after Hagwan, will Yumi improve in math and all of the other stuff that she needs to be good at? And so, Yumi on her way to the library, so we were going on through the book, and she sees something that looks like a movie theater. She goes closer. It's a comedy club. When you read the sign, welcome to the Haha Club, what did you think that Yumi was going to do? I knew that she wasn't going to be like, oh cool, I'm gonna go to the library now. I knew in my heart that she was gonna go investigate, and sure enough, she did, especially because Jasmine Jasper, her hero, was there. Have you ever met your hero before? Well, my heroes are always authors. I want to become an author. I've already written a few books. I want to become an author, and so today I'm going to meet Jessica Kim herself with the author, just in case anybody forgot. And that's really awesome. And then so this was and then on September 27th, 2023, or the last Wednesday of September, I'm actually going to one of Rick Riordan's book tours. It's gonna be awesome, and he's one of my biggest heroes, so I'm really excited to see him, and also get that Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. That's also gonna be really cool. And now she realizes that Jasmine Jasper is actually teaching. Do you think that after this, Yumi's going to get really good? Because Jasmine Jasper is basically a master. So do you think that she's going to get really good at comedy? And if so, do you think that she'll be able to convince her parents? But think about it. When you read this, where you're like, but Yumi can't even sign up for comedy camp. Her parents are not going to allow it. How do you think that she was going to solve this problem? Because, yeah, it's serious. So, but still, if you have been Yumi, would you have been tempted to just peek, or would you just be like, oh, I can't do that. I need to go to the library later. I'll tell my parents. But maybe they're gonna accept, maybe they're not. But I'm not gonna do it right now. I have to study. I'm definitely not gonna say I have to study. I'm not that very motivated by quadratic equations, which I'm actually learning right now. I mean quadratic formula. Sorry, I've actually memorized it now a few days ago. And so yeah, I'm not a big fan of those types of things. So I would definitely peek around the corner to see what they're doing. And now. But then Jasmine Jasper, she points her out, right? And she thinks that Yumi is Kei Nakamura, right? Who is probably a Japanese student, because Nakamura is a Japanese name. And this is just a big, a very bad situation of mistaken identity. Now, if you have been Yumi, would you have been like, sorry, I'm not Kei Nakamura, I just peeked in through the door just to see what was happening. Sorry, I'm not her. Or would you just be like, wow, this is just a really great opportunity. What the heck? She's not even here. Well, I'm just gonna relax for once. Or would you be like, what if the real Kei comes at any moment? I need to get out of here. How would you choose? What would you do? I would just leave. I don't like getting myself into messes, so I would just leave. So, do you think that Yumi is doing something wrong? Or do you think that she's doing something okay? I mean, like, because Kei Nakamura, the real Kei Nakamura's parents, I guess, will probably be paying for these lessons. If Kei doesn't show up, maybe they don't have to pay. But now they have to pay for all of those lessons, right? And even if they don't, this is bad. I mean, like, Yumi, she's stealing no matter what, and she's lying, she's tricking. And do you think that because of this, she shouldn't do this? Do you think that she should just drop out of comedy club? What do you think? And then one thing happens. She's gotten out of comedy club. She's really happy. And then her mother is almost at the library, right? She's driving towards the library. And of course, Yumi didn't even get there. Go there, right? Now, what did you think? Did you think that her mom was going to find out about it? Did you think that Yumi was going to somehow lie her way through? And do you think Yumi's going to tell her parents about this? Well, we're going to have to find out in the next chapters. I hope that you really enjoyed chapters 1 to 5 in Stand Up Yumi Chung. Now, I'm not really going to ask you a lot of questions now. I mean, I've already asked you a ton. My last 2 questions are going to be, 1, do you think Yumi should tell her parents? And Jasmine Jasper, do you think that she should or not go to camp? Because the real Kei might come, and it's stealing, it's lying, right? And third, my question is, do you think that Yumi will ever be able to convince her parents to let her get into comedy club, or to let her do the things that she wants to do? Well, we're gonna have to find out next time in Stand Up Yumi Chung by Jessica Kim. Once I meet Jessica Kim, I will probably post details about that visit, about that meeting. I mean, it's gonna be pretty short, I think, but still, it's gonna be really cool. Okay, well, I'll see you next time.